No, don't worry about that.
This is going to be the most jarring recording of a stream that everyone's like, especially people that just started watching, because they will feel that it's like some kind of mid-sentence that they just like, did Georgie just like talk with someone and just pressed play and started recording at some point? And it's like, yes, you're right. That's exactly what happened. Except we planned this, and I'm totally unprepared. Professional streamer, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I'm the one too, so that's how we are.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not professional, but already not an amateur. Just like
I mean, like
job.
if we just count the hours that you're doing streaming, I think you're like 3 lifetimes ahead of me.
Well, not that much, but still
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah. Not all of them are very entertaining. I mean, those hours, but that still counts to experience, right?
Yeah.
So are we live on your channel?
On my
already?
channel, we are extra live. Like we're the livest. We are the livest live that I lovest about. Welcome everyone. Welcome people that are joining our warm, cozy, friendly chat with some of the best Ukraine has to offer with Rick the Ukrainian and Roman Trochimets.
Yeah. You still don't know each other, right, guys?
We know each other by proxy. Let's put it this way. Like I've by proxy, I worked with a lot of people that work with Roman, and initially, even like the initial what is the guy like? There was a person approaching me when Roman was doing before the injury was doing a lot of these videos like on the phone. So there was an initial proposal for cooperation, but at that moment I was just too busy figuring out how YouTube works, and I didn't work. So there's been like we kind of did things together-ish, but it was actually in parallel. So it's very nice seeing you in person for the first time ever, Roman.
Yeah, finally we did it.
By the way, not fully in person yet. You need to come to Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean, like whenever I want to divorce, I'll do that. I mean, like as soon as like my wife is gonna be like, it's like I don't know. It's like I'm not cleaning up the house today. I was like, I'm going to Ukraine. There we go, divorce.
Oh yeah, Roman. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
Yeah.
Please say what you wanted to say.
Yeah, you did. Yes. Yeah, it's interesting because I can see the flag of my brigade behind your back.
Yeah, I know, right?
Can you share the story if it's like?
Not a story, just was working to help a lot of people. We got a lot of money, and the guys just sent this flag with signed signatures. It's just pretty cool.
It's cool. It's cool, yeah.
Rick, you're not having a video, so I'm capturing just Roman, right?
I actually have it, but the problem is, for some reason, I cannot show it on Discord. I tried to show it to Roman, and it's not working for some reason. I wonder how I... Shit. Okay, just give me a second. I'll reconnect to this call, okay?
Yes. It's fine. Since Roman said, oh no, now... Well, oh wait, how did it do it?
You see me now, right?
Yeah, we see you. Extra see you.
Okay.
Professional streaming, awesome. By the way. We all do this live on recording, so everyone just... there we go. Enjoy two Ricks because
yeah, 2 Ricks on his side. Just give me a second. I'll need to readjust it. You see how it goes with Discord. You always need to readjust the position of people.
Perfect.
But I've done it.
We're perfect. We're now. I should have mirrored my image. It's fine. We'll figure it out. So I'm gonna try to do like this, so people when you're watching. So they're like, I'm interacting actually with the people. Like for you, it's gonna be weird because I'm gonna be to your side. You can talk in this my left cheek, but for the people, it's gonna be awesome because the video you are right here for me.
Okay, same shit. Yeah. I see you there, guys. But
anyway,
I also see you here on my screen. So yeah.
Anyway, technical things aside, how are you guys doing? Like let's put it this straight. More importantly, I think we should start with something that is a lot more important than us having some weird friendly chats, which is we have a campaigns to run. I know, yeah. Rick, you're running the campaign. I believe Roman, you're also having a campaign to run for a fundraiser?
We have it together.
Ah, you have together, okay.
It's
because you
together.
sent two.
Yeah.
So you sent two campaigns for me.
Uh-huh.
And I'm also running a campaign. So, and potentially,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Claire will be joining. She wrote me that she will be joining.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Really.
So either she's going to be in chat, or even better, if she would join the call, that would be great. I'm going to post the links, guys, in the chat for if you were looking how you can support Ukraine, Ukrainians, Ukrainian fighters, everything. And if you enjoy the technical discussions about how do we set up OBS professional streamers vibe before we get to talks about Ukraine, please support Ukrainian armed forces. Please support Ukraine as much as you can. They can really use the help right now.
Yep, I agree. Georgie, can you please show on the screen of your stream the campaign that we're running together with Roman? It has his patches with 69 Sniffing Brigade. An ambitious goal for us. For you, it's easy peasy. For your community, you've done what was the biggest one that you've closed?
400,000, I believe, like something over like 400 something thousand we did.
Yeah, Roman, I told you, that's the professional fundraiser here with us.
I mean,
Amazing
like
community.
Yeah, community.
Yeah.
Like it's not me. Like I'm just a guy that just yells at the camera, and people just like chugging popcorn when they're like, "Yeah, this guy." And I'm like, okay, but the community, it's the people, it's not me. I'm just doing what I can, the least I can do to piss off the Russians.
People are following you. That's also has something to do with how you, with your approach, with how you present information, with how you yell at the screen, at the camera.
That's actually, I think, that the biggest thing, because a lot of people feel really frustrated about what we Europeans, like Jake is a great representation of the Americans that feel a lot for Ukraine. And I feel that there is a lot of people in Europe that are very frustrated how Europeans are acting. And it feels that a lot of people kind of connected with me on that level, that they just like, thank you for voicing how I feel, literally. Because we really feel that we can do more, but it's always too little, too late, and not enough. And we're extremely frustrated. Everyone is extremely frustrated because of that.
Tell us about frustration, huh? We live in Ukraine. We Ukrainians. We're not just living in Ukraine.
So I've
We are
heard.
Ukrainians.
So
Yeah,
I've heard.
and
One of the major questions that I got asked with regards to Ukraine is, guys, the bombings of the cities and everything, they're pretty hard. So obviously we always talk about like how we can help out a lot and so on. We want to really see how bad is the things right now. We know that the electrical grid is going down, but it's been also a couple of years, and I know a lot of people have more or less adapted, and they have some kind of individual generators. Can you tell us, first of all, how you are bearing, how your relatives are bearing, your family, and how in general, like, is there any people that are super in need? How in danger are you this winter?
Roman, would you say about yourself?
I just it seems like something with connection was because can
You
can
could
you
not
hear me?
hear. Yeah, we can. We can. You could not hear Georgie?
It's just somehow stops his speech and his question, so I can hear only about how's the living in the city, and what about bomb shelling, and that's all.
Yeah, will you repeat it real quick, Georgie?
Yeah. Basically,
Yeah, please.
the winter with the bombings and everything. What problems there are in the winter, and is there something critical that would be absolutely critical for people to get over this winter? I think we're having a lot of internet connection troubles.
Probably. So you did not hear Georgie at this time too.
And but I believe I got his point, because
Yeah,
like
and I can transfer the
it's about
question. So, what about you, Roman? What does your family need in terms of low power and power outages and Russian strikes? If you need something, or maybe there are families around you in need of something.
I could I could speak generally. What I can see here is the main problem when there's no electricity. It's the families with the little children, and they literally the elevator not working, and it means that people must like carry everything like to the high floor, including the children, the groceries, the food, the water, everything. And for old people it's also very very tough. It's first
Mm-hmm.
one, and second, of course, sometimes when electricity is off, the heat is also not working, so it's pretty cold in apartments. And of course people like civilians struggling, both they must survive themselves and they also must and should help the army. And it's like a double hit, because they like fight on both sides. And but I can't complain because I was in trenches, and for me everything everything is okay. It's just, at least when I have some roof on the top, like above my head, everything's fine. Like I'm not wet, and my clothes is not wet and not in dirt, not in blood. So n- I can't like compare, and I can't complain. Uh, yeah, but for most civilians, they wasn't. For those who wasn't on war, or for example in occupation, uh, it's pretty hard to survive, because many of them work, for example, relocated, and it affect on internet. They can't work, or for example they should work at night when they have electricity. So the schedule is like crazy. It's like when somebody accept you on the job and ask you about how stressful you are, and you say, I'm just okay, and this is when it's all begin. It's like no water, no electricity, no internet, but but your work should be done. And
Yeah.
this is situation. And of course it's like basic stuff about making money, about getting salary, about getting some job. But of course it's cold. Of course it's about carry stuff to the high floors. Yeah, lots of challenges actually. But I want to ask Rick this question.
Well, to be honest, I'm listening to this and understand how fucking privileged I am, and that my house adapted to this a bit because
I
I
see a
live
heater behind you. Yes.
yeah, a heater. There's an EcoFlow that actually rollers helped me in summer when there were much worse power outages. They said, "Rick, you're getting an EcoFlow from us. We're starting a fundraiser." I was like, "Guys, I don't want, to raise funds for any equipment for me." And they did it not behind my back, but they said straightforward, we need content. You need to keep working. So here's money. Go buy yourself an EcoFlow. Uh, a big one that really can get easily can weight this, around 2 kilowatts heater, and it works together with a PC with two screens, so I can keep streaming when the power outage is going. By the way, like the last 2 days, we don't have power outages. In the last 2 days, somehow our infrastructure adapted, but we have a warmer weather outside. This is why it's easier for them. Usually, when it's frost outside, it's getting
Mhm.
worse with electricity, and we have more power outages. So right now the situation is not that bad. And the last attack did not cripple our infrastructure as it was crippled in summer. But this is not the end of winter and not the end of this war. And Russia will keep striking us. It will keep looking for a way to bypass the air defense, to fool it somehow. So yeah, right now I must say we, as inhabitants of this house, we uh, raised money together. We kind of piled up the money, and bought a generator for the house, for the water pumps, for one elevator out of 3 elevators, because it's a tall house, many floors, and I live pretty high. And for me, it takes a lot of energy to walk up to the 20 plus floor, and so now a generator automatically starts when we have power outage, and we have elevator, we have heating and water working. So in this house, we have pretty good and probably wealthy inhabitants who were able to raise money for that and to start that initiative. We also have awesome guy, like a not an owner, how do you call him, landlord. Yeah, so he is managing all the business concerning those things, and he actually organized all of that, and our state, Ukraine, compensates half of that sum, so it cost us that generator plus all the additional equipment plus work to install it, to connect it. It cost us around 1 million hryvnias for the house. Many apartments in this house, I think a few hundred, but so not a big sum for the whole house. But the state, Ukrainian state, compensated half of it, so we needed to pay only around 500,000 hryvnias for everything. So right now, Ukrainian government is helping Ukrainians to get the better situation with electricity. But you know what? It actually all makes us more autonomous. Not all the houses are capable of doing that, because in many houses there are people live. Yeah, like most of the people in some houses, even the neighboring houses to mine, they don't have. They did not raise enough money to install the generator. So the situation is not that good as it is here. So this is why I feel privileged, and fuck how lucky I am to live in this house, to have such community, to provide me with EcoFlow. So thank you, everyone, either my neighbors and Rickrollers, of course, you too. Thank you. So that's the situation. But as Roman said, it's really hard for many people and much harder for them than for me. So, Georgie, what comments do you see there? Why are you laughing?
Uh,
Yeah, perfect. So I'm gonna repeat this. No sun. Anyway, guys, in this stream I'm gonna try to ask questions from the chat. So please write at Ukraine Matters to see that it gets highlighted for me, and then I can read the question. I cannot promise that I'm gonna read.
People are saying that you're on mute. No audio.
No,
Your
no, no,
mic is
no,
off,
no, no. Now
Georgie.
it is on now. It was
Okay.
so. Yeah, basically, yeah. The guy at the bottom, but I forgot to introduce you to my community. So at the top here, I was like, my God, where is it? Somewhere here. So this is Rick the Ukrainian. He's a Ukrainian. He's Rick. He's a streamer. He does an amazing job. He creates great content. Specifically, he talks extensively about what's happening in Ukraine. Does a lot of help. Does a lot of live streams. I've seen some really creative ones, like where you did like a singing presentation. I don't even know how to name it. Where like it was you and then the girl singer, and I enjoyed that one immensely. Where she sang her songs.
So
Like well,
she
was Crimean Tatar. She was Crimean
cool.
Tatar, I believe. Yeah. So it's like some really really cool ones. So Rick is amazing stream creator, very different to a lot of these videos. So if you have the time, I really advertise. And Roman is obviously, how do you say, ex sniper, or is like, how would I put you?
Injured.
Injured.
Just injured. I'm
Yes.
in hospital now.
Yes, and Roman is just injured. so he's ex Armed Forces of Ukraine guy. So he knows ins and outs. He is a legend. He's doing incredible job. you could have seen him, maybe you don't recognize because now he's clean and had some sleep, comparatively to some of the videos early in the war where he recorded them on his phone in the trenches and so on, which was really, really crazy. So firstly, give a round of applause for both of these guys if you can. I would appreciate that. And then the question comes: you want me to be the stupid European or not so stupid European?
Of course, not so stupid, Georgian.
Not so stupid. Damn it! So I cannot ask you the question when the war will end and when you finally gonna give up territories. Damn it!
Yeah,
Because
we're
like
not
this is the
talking about
question. Yeah, this is the question that like every time there is like a journalist from any kind of Western newspapers and there is like some kind of interview with Zelensky or Yermak or anyone else, it's just like, well,
Yep.
are you ready to negotiate and so on. But instead, I'm going to ask this question as a less stupid European, which is Zelensky has talked about the fact that before any kind of peace negotiation, ceasefire can start, he said that Ukraine needs security guarantees. She stated that there's right now two paths for security guarantees, which is joining NATO. So Ukraine gets invited and joins NATO and gets protection essentially by the Article 5. And then this leads to a ceasefire, and then there's a diplomatic path to the return of the territories that are currently occupied by Russia. Or the second path is Ukraine gets nuclear weapons and then it basically starts defending itself as a nuclear power. So, what's your thought on these two approaches? Yours and maybe also how Ukrainians would see it, how you personally would see it. Do you feel that diplomatic path is something that could be explored? And I'm stating exactly how I say it, and not the like you just give up territory and then like, whoa, Putin signs an agreement and then he definitely not going to invade again. Let's not pretend this bullshit. So, what's your thoughts on that?
Roman, you want to start first?
Yeah, actually, you see, from my opinion, only from my opinion, the postponing of the like united of the Western world, like civilized world, brings us to really difficult situation when all over the world these rumors about negotiations start, and the negotiation about what, about frozen conflict. It's like, oh, we know how Russia like to froze any conflict everywhere, in Abkhazia, in Moldova, in Georgia, like in Syria there was. And we only could see on the example of Syria, for example, how like the only way how it could be ended only by forcing Russia to get out of our territory.
What are you saying,
And this
Roman?
is the
Russia never loses. Have you not heard like what people in the Western media says? Like there is no chance Russia can lose. Russia cannot lose at all. And this is sarcasm, of course. Like we just saw how they ran away from Syria.
yeah, sure. Most of the people just remember USSR, and they remember how USSR just fight against Nazi Germany and how they defeat them, but they always forget to include that Ukraine was in the USSR army, and most of the fights was with Ukrainians, and the most of the weapon was like created by our technologies, by our engineers, and we have most of the resources. So Ukraine was like the most of the richest country and the most powerful in USSR, and after that in 1991 we was like third country in the world who had like nuclear weapon, and when we give it up, of course we become weak. Yeah, but of course we exchange it on some promising, and right now we again on the phase, on the step when somebody promising our some promises, some guarantees, but we must be very stupid to accept it, because it doesn't work. And Russia, I can compare Russia as like, like street hooligan. He could be big, he could be really strong, but till you give him punch, like till you show him that you could fight, even if you're weaker, even if you're smaller, he just don't let you go, don't leave you like alone. He always try to like give you, I don't know how to say this stuff, uh um how to say it in English when you do it like this.
I don't know.
Okay, like bullying, like it's like in school, it's always some guy who bullying another guy, and only if you hit him, even if you lose this like a little battle, this guy just leave you alone and find another victim, because such tyranny, such hooligans, they afraid those who could fight back. And this is about Russia. Russia is like big, yeah, it's like big hooligan, and most of the guys like afraid of him. But if you fight back, even if you lose, you will show the power, and you will be free forever. Even though after such thing you can get respect and some friendship with some guy. This is my opinion about it.
Yeah, to get respect, you got to be strong, right? To be capable of defending yourself, you got to be strong. And being in an alliance, I mean, I totally agree with you, Roman, on those points. Just want to add that NATO, okay? There is a big doubt these days that an amendment, or how is it called, Article 5 will work. I actually don't know. I'm not leaning to the weakness of NATO. We will see. Actually, with Trump, it is still uncertain, and it doesn't even depend on him, but also on his team. Of course, Trump, together with his team, what they're going to be doing, his advisors, how they will treat Ukraine, and is it really that after Putin refusing to do real negotiations and just keeping Putin his, capitulation demands for Ukraine, if when that doesn't work, maybe Trump will be supporting Ukraine even more, as some of his advisors are planning. So I think in half a year, the situation will be totally different from what we see here now. It might be worse, but it also might be better. So I think right now, NATO is the best for us. But of course, I would like to see Ukraine with nuclear weapons, and which will prevent Russia from invading again. Because, who wants to attack the nuclear superpower? No one. So we need to become one, ideally. We need to, restore the balance of the forces that was in 1991 or 93, and get them back. It's not that easy in the modern world, especially when there are other players with nuclear weapons who want to keep us unnuclearized. That's my
absolutely.
opinion.
I think it's all valid. So it's great to hear that there is still a lot of resolve in you guys. And do you feel it's also the same kind of in society, that there is still this like that the society in Ukraine generally share your perspectives?
Yeah, I think so. Roman?
uh Actually, I don't know, because yeah, some of them want nuclear weapons, some of them want just being with with NATO. So mm, I haven't such data, so I don't know exactly, to be honest.
Well, I also don't know. I live in my bulb, just like all we live, and it's mostly of active, active civilians, active civil society of Ukraine, and people who see Russia as an enemy, who will never capitulate, who will never agree to any territory being abandoned. But there are a lot of different Ukrainians, unfortunately. I just don't. I know of them existence, and I'm not delusional. I
I mean,
know that unfortunately not all of us are so resilient and so prepared.
And
They're
that's
also
that's kind of
veterans.
the question that everyone is trying to understand, right? Because everyone understands there's a lot of different people and so on. There is a lot of ждуны. There is, like, the boycott situation that just recently
Oh yeah.
reappeared and so on. So there's a lot of potential traitors that are still within, like, Ukrainian society, Ukrainian, like, the roots run deep. And but people really want to kind of poke and see, like, what is it like, because so far, let's be very honest, like, a lot of Europeans, especially Europeans are like some weird, especially Western Europeans. Like, let's not look at the Baltics and say that, oh my God, they never saw Russia for what it actually was. I'm kind of tapping myself on the shoulder here a bit. Anyway, but the biggest thing right now is that there's a lot of Europeans that kind of are like, man, I really wish this icky war to disappear from the news, because, like, always hearing that there are people dying, ooh, war bad, needs to come back to peace. I mean, it's like Ukraine killed a lot of Russians killed a lot of Ukrainians. Maybe they finally can negotiate something. And that's the surface level analysis that a lot of us often, like, I'm pretty sure like half the people in chat that are generally was like, yes, I knew this, because this is the idiocy that we have to interact daily, on a daily basis, about how people perceive this war, because everyone is just like, yeah, it's just something that is happening over there and so on. And even from the news cycles, it's kind of disappeared a little bit. Not so much from the political stage, from what I'm seeing. The new European Commission is a big player. I'm not sure if you heard. We got the main European Union defense guy is Estonian, so he is very much on point what Russia is. And the new commission's head of the foreign office is Kaja Kallas, ex-premier of the
Yeah.
of Estonia, and she been amazing in getting the message across, like explaining specifically the position both of the Eastern Europeans, and giving the perspectives into the Russian modus operandi and how they're working. So it's been very, very helpful, and it's really great that at least on this European level we're having quite a good representation. We'll see what's the coming election cycle will bring us. Right now, there has been certain changes. I'm not sure if you heard, like, there is a new government in France. Then there is
Hmm.
the snap elections that are coming in Germany. So far, it seems that
Hmm.
it potentially might be the which is ironic, the Merkel's party coming back to power. And basically, the Merkel's party kind of looked at themselves in the mirror and is like, what did we do? So there's a grain of salt for sure, and what they can do, what they can achieve, especially where there's expectations that the far right anti-Ukrainian party will also get additional votes. But in general, we see relatively strong support for Ukraine in Central and Northern Europe for sure.
Yeah.
Do you feel it? Like, that's the question. Let's end with the question. Do you feel it?
I definitely feel it from northern part. Denmark, Norway, Sweden. It really looks like they are almost all in with us, investing into production of our weaponry. I really feel it. What about you, Roman?
Uh, yeah, for sure. I used to hear such news, and of course, I heard from my combat fellow who injured, who used to travel to rehabilitation in Latvia, Litva, and Estonia, and they accept them very pleasantly, and like they give a lot of treatment and respect, and yes, of course, maybe I could be wrong, but maybe Baltics country not as rich as like Norway or Finland, maybe, because I don't know, to be honest. But yeah, most of the time it's like Norway or Netherlands who gives us like most of the weapon, or you disagree? Because yeah, I could see you shake your head.
No, I agree. Like the Baltics are
Okay.
definitely not as rich as Finland or the Netherlands. That
Yeah.
is for sure. I mean, like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. European Union has brought great success for the countries. The living standards, the quality of life. I know everyone in Latvia is in. I'm from Latvia, so everyone in Latvia is
Uh-huh.
bitching. But I remember the '90s. That's when I grew up. I remember the level. I remember the how do you say Roman, were you by any chance from Kharkiv? By
Yeah, I was there.
yes,
No, but I'm
no,
from
I
Kiev.
was.
I'm from Kiev.
I is
Yeah.
from Kiev. Okay, no.
Yeah.
But there is this famous market in Kharkiv. So it's like that's the level of clothing that
Uh,
it's like I'm not sure if you know. It's like so
yeah.
it's been night and day, and now we're like actually in a civilized boys club. Like a lot of the
Mhm.
representation is there. Like as you can see, like even on the European level, the small countries like ours, Estonia, Latvia, being represented, voices being heard. So it's been incredibly rejoining back into the European family that the Soviet Union took us from. So it's been pleasant. I'm gonna get
Mhm.
some of the questions from the chat, guys, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, but before that,
Sure.
let me ask you what you're raising funds for right now in your campaign, because you did not send me the link
Yeah.
so I could share it here on my stream. Maybe you do it now and tell
Sure.
us about the campaign.
It's just a Christmas campaign. We're trying to do some kind of ambitious because people have been always asking. We've done these a lot of these campaigns like 20, 30,000 and so on, and this community has been pretty great for that. But oftentimes it would be like we finish one campaign and then we wait until another campaign and then I try to veto, we prepare all the material. So instead, we're trying this new kind of approach, trying some kind of a bigger campaign that maybe we will do for 2 3 months.
Hmm.
This time is for 250,000. We want to get. We're working with Car for Ukraine. We want to get 25 trucks
Nice.
to the Ukrainian armed forces. I
Oh,
believe
damn.
they are going towards the unmanned aerial systems forces.
Yes.
Potentially, that's the primary ones, and at least one of the truck is actually going to some of a guy from my family, from my wife's side, that is right
Mhm.
now also going on the front lines. But thankfully, not like in the front lines for now. Though, as far as I understand, it can happen pretty much any day.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's the campaign. And again, guys, this stream, like you're not
Okay, I'll
appearing that
find it
often.
myself.
Yeah, do that. I mean, just look in my chat, like moderators. Like, by the way, can we say thanks? Can you guys say huge thanks to the moderating team? I'm not sure if you're
Oh,
familiar.
yeah.
So we have an amazing, like, on our community, like moderating team on our community. If you haven't interacted with Ali, Newman, Katie, Kathleen, and everyone else, Mark, and so on, and Callus. Sorry, yes. Oh my God, like yes, all the names, and Trevor, Travis. Sorry, oh my God, Trevor. Jesus Christ. Yes. So everyone, thank you so much for the moderating team. Thank you, thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank,
The-
thank you a lot, because you're sitting somewhere behind the camera and nobody see you, but you're doing an amazing job.
yeah, like at least half of the community, like they're preparing the fund, like all of the fundraisers works, all of the like
Wow.
communication, because I've been doing like the essentially my main job before. Like I'm not, well, I'm now finishing my main job, and I'm going to be doing this more full time. But beforehand, because I was working for like 110 hours a week, I didn't really have time to also additionally do a lot of these
Oh,
fundraisers and so on. So I was like, okay, this is where the moderating team is helping me a lot, and people just don't know that. That's why I always try to underscore just how important they are in helping Ukraine. And a lot of them also have the stake in Ukraine. They also have relatives and friends that are fighting on the front lines. So huge shout out.
Guys, just look at this. They already raised 38,149 euros out of 250. For how long that campaign has been going, Georgie?
Oh, it's like 2 weeks or so. Like it started basically when Jake's his another million has been concluded.
Yeah.
Jake is a crazy one. Like the way that he has the
yeah.
way to people and so on. Because I have a way with people. Mostly it's the wrong way. People really get like discouraged when it's like, oh my god, Georgie, like, can you please, like, it's like whenever you come to my stream, you always like gonna roll a die. So either you get a good Georgie and he's gonna say the things that you like, or he's gonna just like you get like neutrally angry weird Georgie that he's just gonna yell about all the different stuffs, or you get the third one, Georgie is gonna be mad about the thing that you like, and then you're just gonna get really upset, and you're just gonna get like, man, like, I cannot listen to you anymore, unsubscribe. That's it. That's like every time you need to,
Well,
you get one or the others. So, and people kind of get, it's like, okay, I get used to it.
oh,
Anyway,
sounds like an invitation, dude.
it's great.
For any of the stream, because
Join. We have great time every time we're having stream. We're having
I
a
would
great
like to see
times.
you in different. Yeah, I'd like to see you in different employ. You know,
Yeah,
it sounds really
Yeah, it would be
cool.
cool.
it's
Guys,
Yeah,
a
if
right.
you
it's a
have,
yeah.
just gonna quickly ask rollers if they have the means to support your campaign too. Please do that. I think you're getting something as always for donations over 100 euros, right? Is it a patch?
Yeah, we some of like our moderators, by the way, moderating team have designed a patch specifically for this campaign, and it's a
Ah.
patch. There's also some pins, I believe, stuff like
Just
that.
like on our campaign, we're also doing the
Yes.
Car for Ukraine campaign now with rollers for 2 cars, and we have the same pins, but you also have this awesome patch, pretty cool patch.
It's one that was the starting one, with the first that we did with NAFO. They've sent me some of the patches, so I'm hoping that Christmas stream, I will oh, the other way. Christmas stream, I will give this away, guys. So if you will be on Christmas, somewhere around Christmas, around my channel, join up. I will give them away. We're gonna support Ukraine so much. It's gonna be amazing. That we're gonna do everything we can and more. Anyway, questions with regards to you guys. So because I can talk just too much. I usually don't shut up, and that's the issue.
Same shit.
The dude asks, how is Ukraine manpower doing, and will Ukraine lower conscription age since Russia is also using North Korean soldiers to bulk its forces up?
How the hell we know if Ukraine reduces the conscription age? You know, like, you want to know my opinion on that, or you're asking if it's gonna happen? Like, the question is if it's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna happen, and what is likely or not. I don't think that I can talk about that and say any of that, but maybe Roman wants to talk about that.
Mm, a conscription age, I believe it's like mobilized age, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think, Roman, do you think that we should really start conscript Ukrainians from 18 years old, not from 25?
I don't know. First time on war, I was a student and I was 22 in 2015. I was student of architectural department. I was far away from war, like party man, and I even hate any camouflage or any weapon or anything like this. And I only fight because I was volunteer, you know, and I believe any guys could fight from 18, from 20 years. It's, from my opinion, it's not a problem actually. All over the world, like in full scale war, it's always the young guys who fight as well, like 17, 18 years. But you see, can you hear me now? Yeah,
Yeah,
because
we can.
yeah, because the consequences of that is pretty tough. Because, for example, guys starting from 30 years, for them it's way easier to fight against PTSD, against such affection from the war. But the man who fight from 18 or 19 years old, he has no life experience, and its effect on his whole future life. So there will be more really badly injured men in Ukraine because of that. because these people hasn't any life experience. They can't compare war experience to other, and psychology, like resistance, ability to resistance to any stressful stuff, to
Mm-hmm.
death, to kill, to any of this stuff is pretty low. And that's why like I haven't like one opinion about it, because it's very difficult. The only one thing which I believe, that if you're really volunteer soldiers, like in 18, even in 80 years, it's pretty okay. If you've been pushed to fight at these years, it will be catastrophe.
Good point. I totally agree with you. This is why I did not express my opinion, because I mean I understand that we need more men. And for example, I'm one of the men who's not fighting. I'm in suitable age, but I am honestly afraid to join the army, and I am admitting it like that. I found myself a purpose: raise funds for Ukrainian army, fight Russian propaganda. I found so many excuses not to go fight. But when I see if young generation will be forcefully conscripted, it's not being a volunteer. It's different, and as Roman said, it's gonna be a totally different. Nation and generation. It's going to be a whole traumatized generation of young men. Not our generation. We're with Roman. We're from one generation, but people who are these days 18, 20 years old, 22, they're from totally different generation. And this our generation is already yeah is already in a big trouble because of this war, because of Russians invading us and committing genocide against us. But so I think what our government and presidential office doing, except for the populism, they are also taking care of some generations not being like directly affected by this war. Not like the PTSD of living in cities being bombed, and being struck by shaheeds or missiles, but also really being engaged in combat. And as Roman said, that generation, that age, the brain. Did you know, guys, that brain is fully forming only around 25 years old? So people who are above below that level, the brain is still doesn't still have all the mechanisms to fight stress, and of course PTSD is a huge stress for the brain, for the body. So yeah, I totally agree with that. I also want to mention Fuzzy in the chat here, um, saying next, Rick, if you're not scared, then there's something wrong with you. Absolutely no shame. Every time we head to the front, everyone is scared. The fear keeps you alive. So Fuzzy is a soldier who defends Ukraine. He serves in the Foreign Legion mortar unit. They actually, he sent me a cool photo that I'm gonna show later on the stream. It is connected to the mortar, and we actually just yesterday started a fundraiser for him for the car. We need 400,000 hryvnias, and it is being raised separately from the campaign we have with Roman, from the campaign we have with Car for Ukraine. I am doing it through my PayPal. So guys, if you want to contribute to that fundraiser, you have a chance to get this patch. This patch is actually of the military force that is connected to the Foreign Legion. It is actually above the Foreign Legion of Gur, because this is the Gur patch. Now, I get this one not from Fuzzy, I get an awesome one from him, and it's going to be the next one. Now, but this one is from one of the Kraken soldiers who are also the part of the main Directorate of Intelligence. So if you want to buy tickets for this patch, $10 for one ticket, you can buy as many of them as you want. Rollers, I still see no donations on my PayPal. What happened? Today is a day of the rant stream, and that means a regular fundraiser, and you still haven't donated. So please do. And if any of your community, Georgies, wants to get tickets for this patch, I hope it is allowed here to promote my raffles. It's not allowed. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, then let's promote what's allowed. It's our campaign with Roman. I am, I'm talking to my stream. Okay, I'll just close the camera and we'll. Really? That's some fascism there, Georgie.
Yes.
But okay. You probably take it as a competition. I take it more as a teamwork. So
Yes.
thank you for
It's like,
doing your fundraisers, man.
no,
I know
no,
that
no, we're
you're
gonna do
probably
everything.
joking, or maybe
What
not.
do you mean? What do you mean joke? No. It's like it's actually unsanctioned lottery. So no, you cannot really do that. Like it's punishable by law. Yes. Anyway, you guys, I think hit the nail on the head with your answer because it is extremely crucial to understand what kind of Ukraine are you fighting for, right? A lot of people have asked. Um, a lot of it was with regards to different things, but in general, still, it's like we want Ukraine that is free from Russia. But the questions are, what kind of Ukraine are we fighting for, right? Because I'm pretty sure no one would want to have Ukraine where, like, I don't know, Zelensky is basically like your own local Tsar. No one would want that. Like everyone is hoping there is going to be some elections as soon as the war is over, and then you will elect your representatives that you want. And the same also goes on the social level. Like, do you want to fight Ukraine where the generation that comes after you is essentially all traumatized and is struggling with PTSD? And that's the least populous generation that Ukraine had ever. So there is like if you look at the breakdown from the 18 to 25, it's basically like a huge narrowing. There was this birth contraction during that certain period, and that is now there. So you're absolutely right. It's important what kind of Ukraine is going to be the winner of this war. So it's critical um, that people that will be traumatized the most should be preserved and only as a last resort. But I'm going to ask a couple of hostile questions. Will you allow that?
Sure.
Okay.
Just let me know if promoting our NAFA truck campaign is sanctioned or unsanctioned here.
No, that's fine.
That's fine. Okay, so I will ask you at some point later, maybe show it on the screen. The patches are just awesome, and I wanted to talk about them, but let's go for questions.
Yes, the hostile questions. So I'm not sure if you've seen recently the videos by Marcus on with regards to what happened with the 47 Brigade. People in the chat probably didn't see. It's mostly been in Ukrainian, but it flows together with a lot of other things, like with the recent reports about the torture inside of Ukrainian armed forces. Also the a lot of dirty work, the fact that the commanders of a lot of brigades, a lot of the higher up officers, instead of being dismissed from the army, instead get promotions.
Yep.
There's been huge talks about the fact that incompetence and false reporting is prominent to no end. And usually we don't talk about this on my channel because we are Westerners. I'm talking with the Westerners. There is no point for me to talk about that this is a Ukrainian thing. But there has been a lot of discussion about this lately within Ukrainian society. I've heard some of the experts, like what was his name? The one that runs the Come Back Alive Foundation. Oh my God.
Taras Chmut.
Chmut, yes, Chmut talked about this, and like he talked about like what is relevant. Then there was a lot of other guys, like very high ranking ones, also been talking about these. So my question to you, like especially Roman and Rick, for you also seeing it very up close, what are these problems? Is anything being done? because I think a lot of people get really, really frustrated and discouraged when they see that. And this is what actually Butusov also said. He said that manpower and conscription of 18 to 25-year-old doesn't really solve anything if the army that they're going to get into is basically using them as garbage or as a fodder, and they're not really being trained and they're not being anything. So it's a difficult question, hostile one, but I'm hoping you can spread some light on it.
Well, I quickly say that I see a question here, not a question, but a statement here in the chat, in my chat. Giancarlo says, yes, Rick was with one of the first ones talking about that publicly. So yeah, I constantly talk about it on my streams, even like, I don't know, I started talking about that half a year ago, corruption in Ukraine, problems in the army. The army reform is what I'm talking about since Ternenko started actively encouraging Ukrainians, demanding the army reform. It was like 2 or 3 months ago. I have so much to say, but I think I want to listen to what Roman thinks first before I dive into my rant, because I'm really frustrated and really angry what is being done and how no proper changes are happening. Roman, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you see, friends, we fight not only against Russia on the front line, but we fight against Russia agency and like special agents deep inside Ukraine. Because yeah, we stopped being in Soviet Union in 1991, but still, even in 2014, we had the president who ran away to Russia, and he's like totally Russian, like puppet. Uh, and uh, and it means that in Ukrainian army, in Ukrainian government, there are lots of Russians people who just have a lot of connections, a lot of power, and they like penetrate in such system, and it's pretty hard to get rid of them. It's like it's really tough and long way. It's like fighting against system. We have a problem with corruption. Yes, we have problems with the commands. Of course, we have problem with our allies who afraid of escalation. Yes, of course, we have such problem as well. We have problem with Russia on the battlefield because they even some guys from Africa joined them. Not so spread, but like I've seen video from my combat fellows who fight against like black people on the front line who fight on Russian side, and we have problems against North Korea and the Iran missiles. So it's not like so obvious. Like war, it's just something black and white. Like front line, there's ally, there's enemy, and period. That's all. It's way more difficult, and also policy, and also we depend on the Western supporters, and it's like battle. You see why this war is so tough, because it's a battle on all the level we have, like all the society level, all economy level, politician level, financial, diplomatic, military, like everywhere we like keep on fighting on every level which you can just imagine. That's why it's so long, that's why it's so hard, and that's why, for example, me or Rick, we only find those soldiers who really fight on the battlefield, and we bring help exactly to this soldier. We don't bring like help or cars or drones to some like uh, some brigade. We give it exact to those soldiers who we know we like they fight on the battlefield, and this is the only way how to help exact those guys who really need it. This is my answer.
Yeah, but it doesn't really help, like when something that Marcus has described, when some of the brigade commanders just suddenly, oh, you have a car. Well, and now I have a car.
Yeah.
So the issues are there, and I'm kind of gonna answer a little bit to kind of my own question here, and I'm gonna say, guys, that watching on my stream, especially the English speakers and so on. Listen, Ukraine is a country that is also having their own internal issues. Like we are also having our own internal issues, right? Every German can easily look at themselves in the mirror and like look at the state of the Bundestag and say like, is this like the real armed forces? Do you think that they really can protect you? And pretty much everyone can look at this. Like war is a big test. Like it's when all of the untightened screws,
Yeah.
all of the things get stress tested and they break. And the unfortunate truth is that because it's war, the cost of it is human life, and that is the situation that Ukraine is finding themselves in. So all of these rarities that were well hidden behind the facade of a changed army, where there was like this part of the military force that was nice and professional, now it got exposed as it part of mobilizing, and this the system is struggling to adapt, and it's definitely a fight for Ukrainians to have. And beyond that, we also see that certain movements are happening. You mentioned Sternenko, Rick, and Sternenko did meet with a lot of other bloggers with Sirsky, right? So we can clearly say that at least the message was delivered. Because if you if you probably know Sternenko, I'm pretty sure he said to his face
Well,
what
I
he
know
thought.
that, but the thing is with Sternenko in that meeting, that was him actually backing off. And unfortunately, it was not a victory for Sternenko to meet Sirsky. It was a loss. And
Okay.
it's my opinion. I think he was told to keep it less heated and to, shake hands with Sirsky. And Sirsky was told the same to, just order Sternenko like that. It was a very bad move. And he was told to, in my opinion, to keep it to just settle it all down. Both of them were
Well,
were
the
told.
message didn't really come across. I'm not sure if you watched some of his latest videos, but he's been ripping into the command of the armed
He's not
forces.
saying anything about Sirsky personally. Did you notice that? Because in the video before that meeting, he said Sirsky ordered me, and I think Sirsky is not a
No,
person
it's like
to
maybe
lead
that
this
that was
army.
maybe that. Oh, okay, that's a nice.
He said
Can you
that.
can you put a point into that? So, but like because Sternenko was talking extensively about it, and he
Yes,
was talking
he's
that there
talking
was
about the army reform, but
yeah,
he's not talking about Sirsky anymore.
okay,
He never mentioned Sirsky after that meeting.
interesting.
So that
You should
meeting,
we should ask this question to him.
exactly. But that meeting, in my opinion, was a humiliation to him.
Interesting.
And Starenko is someone who I admire, who is basically a role model for me. He's not perfect, definitely. He is though doing a great job. And he's one of the leaders here in Ukraine. Some people in Ukraine say maybe there are some political forces behind him, and he's working for the president's office, Yermak and stuff like that. But I doubt that. I think he might be too radical for that, and he is really the voice of the army right now, calling for change. And that change has been, we see that the office of the president, Sirsky and his team, they are trying to firefight the critical situation. They are trying to instead of a division system, they are going to the core system, which is we're not sure if it's going to be more effective, but I don't know if it's going to be less effective than division system, but we need the division system. So it's like half measures, of course, the transfer from one unit to another has already started in Armia Plus, which is Army Plus, the app. You can do it through the app, and it started working, and a few thousand people were already transferred from one unit to another. And it really avoids some corruption that is very like everywhere in those processes, in that bureaucracy, there's corruption everywhere, and you basically can do nothing in the Soviet army, which is a Ukrainian army right now. The thing is, our army was indeed less Soviet while we had Zaluzhny, because with Zaluzhny, there was a possibility to build the horizontal connections, not only the vertical ones. A lot of surgeons like Marcos, for example, they were able to meet the commander in chief and propose their ideas, and he was open for those ideas. I don't see anything like that with Sirski and his team. And what is growing even bigger right now in our army is that the incompetence, the lack of leadership is encouraged, and people are being promoted exactly for being ineffective. Because one of the ways to get rid of the bad commanders is to promote them. That's how it works in Soviet army. Unfortunately, that's what Marcus is talking about in his videos. I watched all of them. I believe him at 90%. I think 90% of what he says, at least 90%, is truth. He might be lying in some small details, but he describes the exact image of the Soviet army that is unfortunately thriving right now in Ukrainian army, and that those just gray, I don't know how called that, Ivan Mikhailovich Shalomaha, but people without a talent who are very, very damaging and very, I don't know the word, definitely don't know the word in English, how to call it, but it's when the person wants to, cares only about themselves, selfish, yes, but also like very backstabbing and so low, like really low in all of their emotions and motivations. So this is the image of the of the promoted, very successful career officer of the Ukrainian army. The problem, what is the problem? Even Russians started punishing the high command, but not us. I think the biggest reform that we need is to really provide some justice. Also, not justice, but damn it, responsibility for the commanders. That's the word. We need to provide responsibility, because this is the first reform that can make any other reform being effective. Because right now, for ineffective actions, ineffective work, our commanders are not being punished. There's not a single punishment for commanders for losing their personnel in some stupid suicidal mission, or which happened a lot of times, with Sodol. Have you heard of Sodol, by the way? Georgie, you've heard of Sodol, right? And you
Yeah,
know
of
that
course.
Sternenko even, not invented, but he's using the term Sodolshina, which basically describes all of this shit in our army right now. That this person represents the commander of this unfortunate, the image of our army. So that's the situation. I really hope we did not miss the moment to transform our army, because right now the front line is crumbling more and more with every day. The defense is being less solid. I think you keep looking at the map, and on Deep State map, it's all visible there. And they also describe the situations on some of directions, on some of villages, what is currently happening in some of the places where Russians are able to just enter villages easily, and only on the way back, when they landed the infantry on their armored vehicles, only then they start being attacked. So there are problems with communications. On the front line, there's a lack of personnel, there's a lack of proper command, and I think that's the main problem. Lack of proper command is leading to huge advancements of Russians, and pretty more and more success of their movements there every day. Of course, it goes with huge losses for Russians, but as we learned in these 3 years, for Russians it's nothing. Even for those Russians who are being killed there, they will meet their destiny with great pleasure. Like, they would love to die for their country. And thousands and thousands of them, hundreds of thousands of them being killed. And we were wondering, remember how in 2022 we were wondering, oh, how many how many more thousand people will it take for them to stop? I think even 4 million will not be enough for them to stop, because it's not about the number of Russians being eliminated on the battlefield in Ukraine or in Kursk Oblast. Sorry, this monologue is pretty long, but I have a lot to say. That's, on Wednesday I do rant streams, so that's my rant to you today, guys. If you liked it, send a donation to our campaign with Roman. We're raising funds for 4 NAFO trucks. One of them is going to be medevac, also 3 generators, and 3 Starlinks. We have awesome patches there. If Georgie is going to be kind and show them on the screen on his stream, I would be really grateful. If you need the link, once again, no, you're not showing it.
No, I'm not switching the screen. Like, this works for now. I'm afraid that if I touch something, it's just gonna break. So we are where we are.
Okay.
The only thing I can do is like this 90s grandpa, and I can show it on the phone or something.
Can you send a link to the chat and pin it there, like I pinned yours?
Yes.
Do you need the link once again, or you will find it there?
My moderators are amazing. They're the best.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Mine are too. Thank you, my moderators. You are fucking awesome. Because Georgie's already complimented his before, and I didn't do it. So, guys, thank you for your work. You do a lot. Thank you. I appreciate that.
But Roman, before we get to you, I know you're exploding. Like, I saw you, like you already wanted to say something. But before we get to you, a couple of words for people that don't know. So Marcus, that we mentioned, Marcus is he basically created the 47th Brigade. Like, he's a longtime veteran ever since the 2014 anti-terrorist operation that Ukraine did against the initial Russian proxies inside of Donbass. So he was one of those forces that, for example, threw Girkin out of Slovyansk. And after that, he was still fighting. And then he made a career as a public speaking figure, like a media figure. He wrote a quite successful book, and after that he wanted to bring in some kind of he obviously started fighting as the Russians invaded fully into Ukraine, and then he proposed the idea for this new brigade, the 47th Brigade, that we know of because they were spearheading the counteroffensive in 2023, I want to say, just to make sure that I remember the years correctly.
2023.
Yeah, so that's the 47th Brigade. So 47th Brigade was prepared specifically. They were the ones that were driving Bradleys as they just appeared on the front lines. So, and Marcus was the chief sergeant of that brigade, and he was basically the kind of say one of the fathers of that. So he came out basically with a very he took apart all of the Ukrainian army system, and specifically the command of that brigade, and how the counteroffensive was prepared and all of that. It's a long 7 hours or so videos. Maybe I will translate them, but I know Rick is pretty good at translating things. Maybe he will take on that. So that could be a possibility.
Work,
yes, and then the second one was General Sodel, and General Sodel was one of the generals. Was he in Kherson? Was he
also? Yeah, he was actually responsible for the operation in Krynki, which was a suicide mission for a lot of Marines. And as Bogdan Kratevich, the chief of staff of the Azov Brigade, said, this general killed more Ukrainian soldiers than any Russian general. That's it.
Yeah, so basically that kind of a guy, like very not cool. Sorry now, Roman, I know you've been wanting to speak, so please take it from here.
Yeah, but I just hear from you the whole story about Marcus, but what's the question actually? What was the question about?
No,
Because
just
you retold me.
Yeah, there's just the general perspective, your perspective on the... it was not the question, it was just in the introduction, because I was hoping you will be talking after Rick, but people just didn't know who Marcus is, that we're talking about, who Sodel is, so it just warranted some explanation, because we're throwing out names here, and people might not really realize it. So, yeah, what's your take on the situation with the army? Do you see any kind of light at the end of the tunnel? Is there any positive changes? Like, we know that Umerov met with some of the brigade commanders and some of the initiative group with regards to changes to the army, but did it work? Like, do you hear anything? Nothing secret, but maybe.
Um, Actually, this is the big difference between Ukraine and Russia. That's if we have some public resonance, if we have something like some topic about many people and bloggers talking about, we could really change it. Even if it's a revolution should start for that. So I'm pretty calm and confident about it because of course it's a disaster talking about such unpleasant things, but yet for example a month ago I forgot actually who was that, but Zelensky put on some really good commander in armed forces of Ukraine. There was 2 or 3 of them. Some of them with this famous clip when he drive BMP in the Mariupol against Russian separatists, and another, I believe, 2 guys. I really
I can
have
say the names.
memories.
I can say the
Sorry?
names. So he appointed as a chief of a ground forces Drapati, Mikhailo Drapati. He is the one responsible for actually stopping Russians in Vovchansk. He was appointed the commander of that operation. Very good, very respected among soldiers commander. And second one is Apostle. He's going to be commanding also, he's going to be a deputy of him or of Minister of Defense, and he's going to be responsible for training of the soldiers, for increasing the quality of training. Apostle Drapati, and there was a third guy. I think you might be talking about him. I forgot the name. A few days ago it happened.
The one that
Yeah, please
drove
continue.
BMP was Drapati, as far as I'm aware.
Drapati was the one. Yeah,
Yes. Thank you, Rick, because my memory
no problem.
sucks. So something this is on top of this bad news. This is very good news actually, because such a good guys have a lot of power and have a lot of possibilities to improve a lot of changes, a lot of good changes, and just get rid of all the post-Soviet system guys.
Yep.
But of course, a lots of annoying stuff happens, and it's tough. But from the other side, you see how I'm thinking. Like, what other choice do we have? Like, okay, just say okay, just stop fighting against command or against corruption or against the Russians. Like, we have no other choice. This is about to survive. This is about to survive in the whole nation. So yeah, we have a lot of problem, and step by step we fight them like all the people who have some power or opportunity on their level. They fight against that. We have also, we didn't mention, for example, people in Ukraine who live their best life during the war. We have such people in Ukraine. So if we only pay attention on such things, we will never win the war, because we have a lot of young people who just hanging out in the clubs or restaurants and just do nothing. They don't care about war. Yeah, this is also true. So what's now? Just leave the front line or run away to Poland or Czech Republic or somewhere, or live in Bali in Thailand. It's not the answer. We have problems and we fight them. This is all.
Yep. By the way, Mikhail Drapati already put out a strategy, what he is planning to do in the army, and that includes most of the points that both Sternenko and our soldiers, both, yeah, that a lot of people on on top of that are saying. So it seems optimistic, but the problem is system will always fight back, and this Soviet corrupt system will fight back, just like in Marcos's videos. It was destroying the brigade from the inside. It will try to destroy all the plans for greater changes, but we have no other way. Just like Roman said, what the fuck else do we have to do? We need to try. We need to try and beat that system and really reform it. But changes must be systematic, not reaction to some separate cases. You know, like when they are trying to. When we start screaming about it, the Ukrainian society starts screaming about some shit. And you see, the problem is with Sodal, for example, he could be really they could fight this fire and really calm down the Ukrainian society by bringing Sodal to justice. Instead, they decided to just let him go unpunished, and actually delist from the army and don't have any responsibility. So that's a big issue. Never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you. Yeah, I guess that was out of a sudden, but here
Yes.
I have notification whenever someone donates to the base. Rick Ashley starts singing here, and I usually sing along. So I needed to do it. Let me finish with Sodal. Instead, our president, office of the president, government, and the head of the army, they decided not to really calm down the Ukrainian society, but just to fuck up and not show a good example, and just let the biggest butcher of Ukrainian men, military men, just go unpunished. That's a big shame. And what? We still gotta fight, and we have no other choice. Either we change or we will all be killed. Yeah, either we change or we die. So, guys, in the next 2 or 3 years, you will see Ukraine either change and win or die completely, just like in 1919. Now, but I still am hopeful, and I believe in the best. So, guys, let's fucking help our army. Let's raise funds for the trucks. Damn, so many good initiatives. Car for Ukraine, 69 Sniffing Brigade. I'm really happy that we're all working on that, because I really cannot understand some Ukrainian channels who are still not raising funds for Ukrainian army. How can you talk about Ukraine, kind of advocate for Ukraine and not help the Ukrainian army? So, Georgie, you lead by example, and I thank you for that, because you do it since what, 2022?
Yeah, pretty
Right?
much. Pretty much.
Yeah. So good job, man. Thank you. Thank you for all your work. You've done a lot of it.
Thanks to community. Like, I'm just a guy that's here on the screen, so I'm just a small cog in this all over thing. Like, we're doing our part, but I'm not gonna let you finish on the negative note. I'm actually gonna say
Wait,
something.
I said I'm hopeful.
Okay. You're forgiven. Like, but I think the third one that you thought about of the recent changes was the changing of the commander of the Pokrovsk direction. They put the Tarnavsky in as a commander of Pokrovsk. That
Do you
was
know?
kind of.
You think Tarnavsky is not a Soviet general?
I don't know about him, but like, he has been one of those big changes. So I need to see. Like, haven't followed him closely, so I don't know that specifics, unfortunately.
Yeah, I also don't know if he is not a Soviet general. This is why I cannot say anything about it. If it was a positive change or just a change to make everyone shut up,
Yeah, but the good part is, like, something that for us guys to notice about stuff is that this is kind of the same. I already talked that the difficult times for army exposes all of these problems that were accumulated, and it's important also for us to realize that it's the same principle as with corruption. The country that is not corrupt, it's like, no, that's how do I put it? When there is a fight against corruption, there would be like cases about corruption appearing
Yep.
on all of the news, all of the media. People would start talking, discussing this. There would be certain things happening, and it gives perspective. There's like, oh my god, corruption here, corruption there, corruption everywhere. But it is counterintuitive, because in reality
Yeah.
is that, like, when corruption is exposed, it actually shows that there is some kind of a fight, some kind of exposure, some kind of a discussion about how this corruption needs to be fought. That's when it's good. So when there is no talks about corruption, most likely the corruption is still there. It's just well hidden. It's working as intended, and you're just living, how do we say, blissfully ignorant. So in my perspective, there is also some kind of grain of goodness in the fact that this problems of the Ukrainian army, as Rick said, are being discussed, are being talked about. So we should definitely not feel discouraged. I think acknowledging the problem is the first step to kind of going towards a solution. So
I
I've
100% agree with you. And, while we keep being careful about it, while we keep silence in these problems, they will never they will never be fixed, because we fucking need to talk about the complicated stuff. And this stuff is finally has been talked about, guys. 2.5 years, almost 3 years of this war, and only now we start addressing these issues. You think the torturing in some crazy brigades was not happening in 2022 or 2023? I'm really happy that we see that in the media, and some maybe someday, and I think this day will come, some commander will really be punished for the war crimes they committed against their own personnel, because we have a shitload of that shit
I'm sorry,
here.
Rick. No one is listening to you. I'm sorry. It's like my chat already lost the plot
Sorry,
because
sorry. My chat is listening to me, and they
yeah.
are agreeing to me. Since we're doing 2 streams, I'm also working for my audience.
Okay.
So, Georgie,
Fair
no
enough.
offense, but
No, everyone is just ruffling right now in my chat. Like everyone's just like Slava scooter and like talking and posting the how do you say the scooter and bomb emojis nonstop. So I'm not sure if you heard
well,
about this Russian general. Like, have you heard about the
yeah,
news?
sure.
Can you tell us a little bit for people that didn't hear about this?
Roman, have you heard about the Kirillov being blown up yesterday?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Can you tell people about it, or should I?
Just rip Scooter. He
Yeah.
died like a hero.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fuck. Rest in peace. Yeah. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Scooter. Good guy. And that that Uzbek guy. Do you guys think he is responsible, or FSB is just getting some random guy and making him say what
I
they
think it's
want him to
definitely
say?
random. Like that's the modus operandi. If you follow any about like how Russian forces are operating, these guys,
Yeah.
they always like they find some kind of a guy to kind of put it before the camera, so he speaks, like, so they have like someone else, and then behind the scenes they oftentimes they follow up and they do the proper investigation and so on. They're still doing that despite the fact that some of them are incompetent. But for the show, for the cameras, they always like, no, we already have it, we already caught the guy, doesn't matter. It's always been like this, non-stop.
Yep, exactly. I want to quickly mention 2 super chats from Mercado Media there. 9.99 bucks. Roman is speaking facts. I saw it for myself in Kyiv. Did you meet in Kyiv with Andrew?
Uh, I I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. I should see a
I
photo
think you
at
did,
least
because
because
he claims
I
you
think you
you
might
did.
you might have met Mercado, yeah.
Yeah, because the second super chat, thank you for that too, Andrew, says, "Hey Roman, I hope you're doing well, bro. And when I get back to Ukraine again, let's link up again." Yeah, I can definitely help you with
okay.
that if you need help. If you link up yourself, no problem. But yeah, it would be awesome if you someday go to Andrew's stream too, because damn man, you should. I mean, you have so much to say and so much experience to share. So, if you have time for that, okay, Georgie, it seems like I interrupted you there. Did I?
Always. It is always
That's my
you.
style, you know.
It's always you. Even when you're not here, I still blame it on you, and I will be blaming it more from here. Now, I
How
only have.
easy it is, right?
I mean, like, if it's your fault, it's your fault, man. You know, you need to take one on the chin. Uh,
Oh, I can do that. No
Big
problem.
question, right? Let's change the tone completely. Big thing came in, I would say even flew in, like blowing everyone's up, like especially Russian buttocks went completely on fire. The F-16s. What's up with F-16s in Ukraine? Because recently we've been hearing that Ukraine just doesn't have pilots. Why no Western pilots are coming in to fly for Ukraine? Why Ukraine is not searching? Have you heard anything about this? What's the issue?
No, I haven't heard anything about it. Roman, you?
No, me neither.
Well,
I actually believe there could be a lot of false information just in purpose
mhm.
spreading. We have no pilot. Oh damn! And Russia just celebrate and we shoot them. Like should they? So if I'll be on the instead of commander, I'll use such strategy. So I believe it's just smart way just to say, oh, we have no weapon, we have no pilot, we have no such thing. But maybe it's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It can, it just like I think we definitely have problems with the lack of pilots. But also, I heard in the news, or even Zelensky mentioned it at some point. Uh, no. Andrew Mercado says, guys, 50 memberships is like $200. No. On my channel, one membership is $1, so it's $50. Thank you very much, Dr. Tuso, for 50 gifted memberships. But yes, I heard that our problems were causing problems. Our partners were causing problems. Oh shit! Yeah, I actually consider a lot of our partners our problems. Especially, I apologize to all Americans who love Joseph Biden, but guys, I unfortunately after year 2023, I don't respect that grandpa, and he is the problem of Ukrainian victory. So anyway, a lot of our partners seem to be given problems with training, delaying it, making it hard. So yeah, we might have the lack of pilots, just like we have the lack of Patriots and lack of F-16 and no TOD systems. So yeah, a lot of stuff is happening, and you see, I'm more positive now. I'm even. Shit, who am I kidding? I'm hysterical. Anyway, thank you everyone for your activity in the chat. I'm reading the messages, but I want to stick to conversation. This is why not really transferring many questions for Georgie or guys. By the way, did you have any questions for Georgie? Because I did not see them in the chat. I mean, his chat is huge. Look, 900 people talking there and asking
Everyone's just
questions.
posting scooters, yeah.
Yeah, you see, mine started posting them too. Oh shit, guys, I love you all.
It's
Just
great.
we also are not always that serious here on my streams. We giggle, we talk about the shortless man. I was about to say manless shorts. Yeah. Remember? No. It's about Andriy being, get in. We had a Ukrainian soldier here on the stream. He was in a hoodie. Like he turned off his camera and he got back only in his t-shirt, and then he turned off the camera again, and Roman was like, hey Andriy, I thought you're gonna come back shirtless, considering how you every time you're coming back, you're one thing, one piece of clothes less than it was for you before. Okay, Georgie, more questions to
Yeah,
Roman?
plenty. Oh, well, the first is going to be a statement from me, but I need Rick you to close your ears because otherwise it's going to trigger you to no end. I know you're not a big fan of Zelensky. So the question was that the only limitation of Zelensky, he has no military experience. He's an entertainer. He started as an entertainer. Zelensky was a manager first and foremost. He was quite successful in building a huge entertainment. I would say like like, if not empire, then like a very, very successful business. So
Conglomerate,
yeah,
right?
so while he did start as an entertainer and a comedian, which by the way, nothing wrong with that at
Yeah.
all, he has been mostly as a managerial position inside of that company. So the fact that he has a sense of humor, the fact that he's short and funny, should not really take you away. Like whenever, especially if you read about his managerial roles and how sometimes he was pretty tough as a manager to work with. So not fully truly statement, and you should definitely look more into Zelensky's career and what he did.
Man, you did not get me triggered. I actually, yeah, you won't be able to do it so easily. Okay, you will, but I won't tell you how. Anyway, um, I just want to say that I respect him for the foreign policy, foreign work, how he all does that. It's amazing. The like the Churchill way, right? But inside of our country, he made so many mistakes, and he, made some systematic mistakes, especially with his team and with, valuing loyalty over professionalism. That's a big issue. Valuing loyalty of his corrupt deputies over professionalism of other people who are not loyal, who might not be loyal. He doesn't know. He knows only these guys who are loyal. And that's a problem. This is why a lot of Ukrainians are angry at Zelensky. I still think he is the best version of the president that we might have at this point of time. And he did fantastically. So here are more compliments for Zelensky from me, huh? Sorry, Rick. I adore Zelensky. Just Jamie, you don't live in Ukraine. Of course, you adore Zelensky. But if I tell you about all his fuck ups inside the country, you will might adore him a bit less. He's amazing. He's amazing
I'll
public
just remind
speaker.
everyone. I'll just remind everyone that as soon as the war was over, Churchill was just completely like booted out, like no chance, absolutely thrown out of the
Exactly.
power right after the war ended. So the fact that there is a war leader that can do something, the war leader also accumulates a lot of the internal spite. So you should not be surprised by it if we're looking outside into Ukraine. So that's kind of part of the deal. Like nothing unusual about here.
Exactly.
Unless
I want
Roman, right? Unless you think that we're all wrong and Zelensky is actually the
Yeah.
God Emperor that's coming to save us all.
What do you think
I
about
don't.
Zelensky? By the way, Roman, I don't think I ever asked you. Do you like the guy?
Time to get triggered.
Next question.
Nice, nice.
uh, nice one. I want to thank everyone who donated to our campaign because there were a few donations during the stream. Thank you guys. I hope you got the patches. By the way, Georgie, did you see the patches? What is your opinion on the
Which patches? Sorry, I haven't seen. I have a lot of
follow the
patches.
link?
Ukraine
Follow
Matters
the link.
patches. Join our Christmas stream. Get all of the patches.
Yeah, guys, join Ukraine Matters Christmas stream.
I'm
Those
gonna
that
even
are on
include I'm
campaign.
gonna even include a thank you note
Ooh,
to one of the
wow.
patches.
From Jake himself.
Anyway, yes, I will check up patches in a second. But guys, something while you can discuss in the meantime is the question is what's it with Ukrainian? Like the question was about towed artillery, but I think more interesting aspect here is like what's with the Ukrainian internal weapons productions. Obviously, you cannot share any details or anything, but do you see that Ukrainian owned weapon producers are getting up there, like they're able to compete and even produce, like maybe you've heard with the guys from the military, are they getting local produced equipment and so on?
As for FPV drones, 100%. I hear a lot from the soldiers. For example, Nord from Azov. I was talking to him last Friday during the NAFA truck handover event, and he said, "Oh wait, it was not him. It was another FPV unit commander." But he said that actually we are getting a lot of drones Ukrainian produced drones that are of good quality. We just need to give some additional equipment for them to kind of do some adjustments. But it doesn't go for the drones that Sternenko is providing. Sternenko, for example, is fully equipping them, even giving them a боеприпас in English. How is it?
Ammunition.
Ammunition. Yeah, ammunition piece like a grenade or explosives attaches to it and prepares it completely. So, and their drones branded Rusoris, and those are of outstanding quality. Also, the Kishershny, the Wild Hornets, pretty awesome brand. And we were, by the way, we were raising funds once for them and provided 46 of them to Azov. Yeah, and they even shown me the video that I forgot to show you guys. But you know, man, the scale of production is right now enough to actually provide most of the FPV units with FPVs. Yes, they need to reprogram them, set them up for different frequencies, the ones that are used there, because they are usually coming in standardized, and what, and also yeah, so FPV drones, it's pretty good right now, and the government is financing it, so we're in a good situation with FPV drones. And if you see someone raising funds for FPV drones in Ukraine, it's pretty rare these days. I don't see it much. Like, it mostly is provided by the government and Sternenko. Basically, yeah, just Stanenko and the governmental finances. But as for the missiles, I think Zelensky and his team are doing a lot of propaganda. Not that many missiles are still used, but they're saying like we started producing our missiles, and we are doing ballistic missiles and Palyamnitsa drone. Look at them. Let's make a good video. But in fact, we still are not on the level to produce enough of them. In my opinion, that's what I read from in different sources here in Ukraine, and that's what I obviously see by the number of strikes, successful strikes, and stuff like that. And we all see that. But I also want to ask Roman what he thinks about that.
Man, I have no like data about how many weapons we produced and how many weapons we bring to the battlefield, so I can't comment this. The
Mhm.
only thing that I believe that one day we will only hope and count only on our producing, and we will never depend on either Western supporter give us something or just give us nothing. That's
Yeah,
all.
that's
That's
how it
all what I can
should
say.
be. But there's a long way to get there. Yes, we need to get there. We need not to rely on a single partner of ours in the future. Ideally, we need to produce everything ourselves. But the problem is, you heard the scandal about the Ukrainian mortar shots lately, right? Did you, Georgie?
Yeah, but it's a single case. It's like a there was like a batch that was poorly created, and they got moisture into these how do you say what is the powders like that needs to so they got moisture in there. So it's a poor process or like some defect in process. That is a little bit of a unheard of. It's like it doesn't show for me a systemic problem. Like, is it a problem of production and so on and quality control? For sure. Should it be fixed? Absolutely. But
Yeah.
is it something that can just happen without any malicious intent and it's just like a part of the error because everyone is trying to push out volumes instead of quality? Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's what you get.
Yeah.
That's like when you're saying is like we need to have a lot more weapons produced, you're saying let's push out bigger volumes. And everyone that has at least once been in any production floor or any production planning tells you right away, as soon as you push production volume to the max, it's going to raise the error percentages. So for
Yeah. Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
it was like where is the problem? Like, is it an issue? Yes, but like stating is like, oh, our production industry is falling apart. Well, I'm
You
sorry,
know,
but data doesn't tell that.
they were the consequences, like how they started treating that issue. They were not really good, and they started lying, then giving the wrong numbers. And you know what is happening right now? By the way, what Starenko is talking about, the supply of drones from the government stopped on some directions, like Pokrovsk, like Kurakhove. That's the big issue. I wonder why it is happening. No data about that yet. Maybe you heard something, some rumors
I
at
haven't
least.
heard of it, like, but I know that that the drone, like, we always need to, like, the problem is that we don't have full data, right? Like, as
Yeah,
much as you
yeah,
don't like Sirsky, I know you don't like
yeah.
I respect him for his tactical prowess. Like, there is definitely, I think, potential improvement in how he builds his command chain, but I'm not a military guy, and more importantly, I don't have the depth of information to give like qualified multi-layer judgments on like whether his strategy to win the war is beneficial or not. But what we do know is that Sersky has been delivering certain things that were good. And as any kind of general that has been kind of, and good high level experts have been stating as well, that Ukraine does need to have certain reserves, and potentially they're planning certain operations to execute, like, I don't know, something like Kursk they did,
May
which
I
is,
ask you to
is
mention the things that he was delivering that were good?
Kursk.
Can you yeah, of
Kursk.
course. Besides, of course, like
It's like, what do
what
you mean?
else?
It's like, what do you mean? It's like, it's been huge victory. Sirsky came in
Mm,
to the front line when he had zero resources. Like, if you remember, he
mhm.
came in specifically during the period when US supplied jack shit. So he
Okay,
came in
but
and
you
needed
said
to
multiple things.
what?
You said multiple things.
Yeah,
Kursk. What
the,
else?
the, the
Can you
discussion,
tell
like,
us more?
who appointed the Drapati right now? Like, is it not
Was it
Sirsky?
Sirsky?
No,
I
like,
think Zelensky was the one appointing him.
I mean, Zelensky signs off, but like, he's still the general.
Well, okay. I think there's a lot of political will in our like our presidential office can actually make appointments in the army. You did not know that?
That's a good question. I need to follow up on that. But the fact that Sirsky
Yeah.
took his time to, for example, meet with Sternenko, I mean, by judging how you stating that he was absolutely destroying Sternenko, he was like absolutely demolishing the guy. So I was
No,
like,
no, no, no.
props to
He was not.
Sirsky to absolutely winning the
It was
public
just a
campaign.
political move, and it's a typical political move that is done
But he's
to
not a
just
political guy. That's the point.
fight the
Like,
fire.
you're painting him like a controversial image. He's like both a political genius and also absolute
No,
fool that doesn't know
it's
how to
not
command
his
his army.
decision. It's not his decision to meet Sternenko. He was told to do so. He still
No, but
has
you're
a
saying he
person
demolished
above
him.
him.
But you're saying he's
I did
demolished,
not
like,
say
not the
that.
fact that they mentioned. No, yeah, you did. Yeah, he was like
No, I
Sternenko got
said they
absolutely
were
his shit
both.
shoved down his throat. That's what you said.
No, man. That's. Hey, Roman. Is it what I said?
I just think maybe there are some other interesting question in chat because talking deep inside about what politicians think. For me, to be honest, I don't like to be participant of such things because I've learned a lot of before full scale invasion. I did real estate and I learned a lot of psychology and people's behavior and lie detection. I learned and I did a lot of such things and make money for that. And it's so hard to just sometimes to predict the regular people's behavior and the action. But when you're a politician on the higher rank and you under pressure and you must accept some decision, it's so unpredictable. So such conversation is pretty. It's just we are Vanga, we are just witches who try to predict something and
You're right.
just let's pretend Sirsky did that and Sternenko said that. But when you don't know, like when you haven't enough data and facts, how can you like said that like this is it? Like it's impossible for
It's
my
just my
opinion.
opinion. Yeah, you're right. We should not.
But
We don't
based on
know.
what? It's
Yeah,
like based on feelings or I like this guy, I don't like this guy, somebody told me.
yeah, yeah. It's
It's
actually our beliefs and our what
okay.
opinions on,
Okay.
of people. Yeah, sorry, man. You're right. We actually
Oh, as you
should
wish,
not
guys.
speculate.
It's your formation of talking, but I can't participate because I don't like to talk without facts. We can talk about, for example, Finland give us $20 million for some rehabilitation center. This is the fact, and this means that Finland support our rehabilitation and other stuff like that. It's true, but other thing is just, I don't know how to say it.
There's a super chat here, $522. Thank you. You know they exist, and it says next. Let's all give proper mention for Anastasia Paraskeva because this woman is more than an angel floating through time here on Earth. Agreed? Like, yeah, why angel?
Fucking
She
creepy.
seems more like human to me. But
Dude.
she's fucking awesome. I agree. But angel, man, that's too much. So Santa, thank you also for $2 super chat. Zelensky, I don't need a ride, I need ammunition. Yeah, that was a really good take. And that, yeah, I told you he's very good in foreign politics. So yeah.
But I actually have some data. Roman said that we don't have data to talk about. I have data. So Zelensky some time ago promised, and everyone was shitting on him, he promised 1 million drones to the armed forces. If you didn't hear about this, that number was reached by the end of September.
It was, yeah.
So by the end of September, the promise of Zelensky that the Ukrainian armed forces will have 1 million drones has been reached. So it surprised everyone. And recent data, additionally, was coming from Russians. I'm going to give you a word for sure. Second data that's coming in from Russians was that Russians reported they shut down over the 2024 over 7,000 Ukrainian drones. So obviously they didn't shut down all of them because they shut down everything. But interestingly, the number is definitely big. And more importantly, what's more positive for everyone that's supporting Ukraine, the statistics of how many drones are there per month keeps on rising. So more booms on Russia, less Russian production, less Russian oil. Cheers to that.
Well, it's always good to focus on good things, and you definitely have an ability to do that, Georgie. And I can only thank you for that, because focusing on good things mobilizes people. Focusing on bad things is not something that I do. I just mentioned them, but I'm not focusing on them. Okay, he wants to
Rick,
really
to be
drop the
honest,
mic. I need
Rick, to be honest, today you focus only on bad thing. I can't recognize you at all, my friend.
Come on, wasn't I ranting in front of you before?
I never see you like this before in my whole life, like today.
Do you think? And how do you like it?
Hate it.
Not really, right? Maybe you won't like to come to the next streams. Well,
I'm just being a bad influence. It's like you
No,
you
it's not.
met you
It's
meet
not you,
a
Georgie.
European guy, and he's like, I'm having such a good day, and Rick is like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Maybe you're provocator.
For sure, for sure. I mean, like my first interaction with Greg Terry. I'm not sure if you know. Like, and I was like, Greg Terry, your friends are shit. And he was like, you say what?
Whoa.
So it's like, yeah, I'm making friends all over the place.
Wait.
Yeah.
No, we had an argument with Greg on the shills. We had an argument about this. Oh my God, what's his name? The Ukrainian politician. And I say that like he's a very controversial figure, and Greg Terry, he's like number one. Oh my God, the English-speaking Ukrainian politician. People in chat, like, okay, chat, help, chat. No, stop making donations. No donations, no membership. Off with that. Who was I talking about? Who was I talking about? Help me. Help
Rick, do not upset Roman. Well, I can upset my friend
Goncharenko, yes,
someday
thank you.
if I want, okay?
Who?
Goncharenko. So I said like he's a pretty controversial figure in Ukraine, and with his background, where he comes from, and what he did, what he didn't do. So and Greg is like, but he's like my friend. I was like, oops.
You know, guys, I want to be myself. You should not deny me that. Sometimes I am grumpy. Sometimes I'm negative. So either you accept me like I am. Sometimes I can be cheery and positive and funny. Sometimes I'm an asshole and I am grumpy. So yeah, I just am not playing. I am being myself all the time, and that's it. And everyone is reacting like, yeah, you can be a blah blah blah.
I'm just a loudmouth idiot that just doesn't know any better. So don't take me too seriously.
Oh,
Anyway, let's better talk about questions from the chat. Like I need
good
to.
idea.
Let's yeah
And
less about me is known, the better it is.
uh,
Talking about drones. Oh, do you have a question?
I will be back in just 2 minutes, and you ask, yeah, please ask
Okay.
Roman a question.
Yeah,
I will be
Roman.
back.
Do you are
Rick,
you?
it's okay. Don't go, Rick.
You lost
He
me,
needs
okay? You
No,
lost me.
to
no,
like like yell in the pillow. He's like,
You
ah.
lost me. I will yell in the pillow in the bathroom, okay? Real quick.
don't do it.
Yeah. There is a
I'm
question from Stephen Kaiser, Roman. Maybe this is something you heard from your friends. So there was this law that came in to kind of do some reforming on the military earlier in the year. It was, I believe, around April, May that was signed in, some kind of a new army law, new conscription law or something. Did it do any changes to the Ukrainian military? Like, was there any impact? I'll see if I can find the specific reference.
It was some specific law about what?
Yeah, there was a
Sorry.
law about the army that came in this year, signed by Zelensky, uh, about the conscription specifically. There was like new ways of conscription and so on. After that law, there was like a new wave of conscription as well. It was around the time when well, I think it was Army Plus was introduced as well, the
Maybe
electronic.
about prisoners who can
And
join the
that
army.
was also part of the war, yeah. Oh, part of the war, part of the.
Because it was good. It was like it was really good and have a huge impact finally. Because for example, in third assault brigade there was a lot of came a lot of guys who voluntarily want to fight fight against Russian, but they couldn't do it. And when this law was accepted, there are a lot of volunteers who really want to prove their loyalty to the country. They wasn't pushed by anybody. They just came to army and they fight pretty bravely. So such person did big impact because first of all they can start learning behave themselves among us, because we are like in third assault in Azov, we're pretty tough guys and we can learn anybody to behave themselves, to get rid their criminal past, because uh, we know how to deal with such things. And second of all, most of them wasn't as like scary as I imagined. For example, I believe if criminals came to army, it will be. I don't know, because I have not much deal with prisoners, but in reality, it was like many different men with different past, and the most important thing they was the volunteers. And this is like the craziest guys you can find on the battlefield, and this is the person against whom you would never want to fight against, because our spirit is invincible.
Yeah, that's true. I've read some reports, like I follow some of the Ukrainian just regular fighters. Like I have a bunch of those that I just follow, and like one of the message, not the message, but the post that he made was when he came to visit Azov Brigade, and he was like so surprised how kind of organized and more or less like efficient everyone is there, like how everyone talks, how everyone walks. He said like compared to my place, this was like incredible. Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah, man, it's true. Many soldiers who like removed, how to say, removed between brigade, came to our brigade from another to Azov or to Third Assault. They like actually they like in paradise. Oh, I must not do like this one, or give me permission, sir, to ask you a question, please, or stuff like that. We have not such like bullshit. We more like really fellowship, like friendly, and for many soldiers, it's something weird. They wasn't accepted. This has happened for real, actually, and this is one of the reasons why we have like so much respect between each other, and this is one of the big positive stuff which happened to Ukrainian army, because we talked about Marcus 47th Brigade Magura, which wasn't unfortunately like successfully built like this, but at least we have minimum two brigade, which is huge, and in which you can fight like a real person, and without this post-Soviet stuff. Of course, sometimes we have some different issues, but most of the time, this is really like fighter club, and I really appreciate that such like things happen to Ukraine. I just wish it could be more and more of them.
For sure.
Okay, I cried enough, and I listened to you while I was doing that. And damn, you're making a good point, Roman.
Really?
Yeah, you doubted that I would approve.
But I said something positive. How can you agree with me?
Well, sometimes even I do that. Come on, man. I was so positive on the previous streams,
Yes,
and
that's
and
why this
uh,
contrast is killing me.
yeah, this is like you got to know me better now. You see, I that happens. That happens when you develop your friendship. You can discover that the other person can also be negative. But what? But I want to thank everyone who donated to our NAFA truck campaign, and I want to ask you guys to help those Christmas miracles happen this year. This campaign is big. We're raising 90,000 euros. Man, this is the biggest one I've ever done. You, Georgie, have done those for 450, but for me, top was 60,000. So 90 is something. It's like the challenging
Listen,
myself and doing it together with Roman.
I did nothing. It's all the community, and you should never beat yourself up. Like I don't know why, but people listen to me for some reason. Like they like me. Well, those people that haven't left my stream by now, but people like me, and that's just how it is. You should not beat yourself up if you didn't know more. This is something that I talk about with my community a lot, because there's a lot of people in my community that are really worried about Ukraine. They really care about how this war is going. They really care about the fact that the situation is not improving, that our help is not sufficient, but they don't have the disposable income, and it's eating at them. It's destroying their lives. Like a lot of people are writing me messages saying, "It's like like I'm trying to do whatever I can, but it feels like I'm not doing any impact." And my answer is always the same. It's in a war this big, there is no action that is small. Like we all have our own small an action that we can do. The fact that people are not in position, that they have disposable income to donate should not be feeling discouraged that they cannot donate, because you can do a lot other things even for free. Write your direct representative, write your politician, remind that Ukraine is important. This is especially crucial right now as the media is not covering Ukraine as enough. So it's only on our shoulders to keep this going, keep the support for Ukraine going. So it's crucial that we stay committed to what we are doing. So the fact that you might not have the biggest fundraiser, I don't have a biggest fundraiser. You're stating here is like, compared to Jake, I'm a like what, like toddler. It's like I can barely scratching the surface. It's not about who gets more. Like, it's not about pissing or dick measuring competition who does more. It's
I'm
about
not talking
doing,
about that.
yeah, it's about doing like some kind of a small part. So I think if you're beating yourself up that your biggest campaign was like 60,000, man, that's a lot. That's really a
I'm
lot.
not
You're
beating
doing.
myself up.
Yes,
I
you are. I
am.
see. You're crying. You're beating yourself up. No,
You're
but
a gaslighter, man. Like
yes, I am.
really,
I am.
like
I'm
you're a
awful.
fucking gaslighter. I hate this shit.
Yes.
Um,
Anyway,
really, I
anyway,
am honest with you.
yes, thank you. But like seriously, you're doing a great job. That's why I'm just like a little bit saying huge thanks to you, Rix, for what you're doing, and it's incredible. Like, and I enjoy your streams, and you should do more of what you do, because all that matters is that we support Ukraine from one aspect or another.
Thank you for the compliment. I'm not discouraged. I just
I
feel
just
responsibility. You see,
yeah.
I take responsibility on me when I promise the soldiers the equipment,
Mm.
and I need to work for that. And my work is actually, yeah, it depends how fast we will close this fundraiser, or how, I used to not care, but the number of requests comes. I mean, I used to not care for how long it stretches in time. When it's time, it's time. But lately I get, are you okay? We can see it.
It's the gas.
Oh yeah, no, it's coming in. Okay, so just to finish my thought, the responsibility is growing. I receive more and more requests, and I put them in line, and the line is growing. And I am just, sometimes I feel more pressure than I did before, because there's more responsibility, and I know that lives are dependent on it. This is why I am acting like that. This is why I'm constantly repeating about the fundraisers, asking for money. But I'm a fundraiser. I am not, I don't have too much pride to not do that, and I will keep asking. And I want to thank everyone who donated today. Guys, we're really close to our first NAFA truck. We're on 19,464 euros, and one truck is 21,000. I wonder if we will be able to reach it today. The link is in the pinned message in the chat for George's campaign in my chat, and in George's chat for our campaign, which we're doing not only me and Roman, but also Olenivka community. Do you know that community? No?
No, no, no. Unfortunately, not.
They are organizing Free Azov rallies here in Kyiv and all over Ukraine, not only in Kyiv. They are standing, and we are standing with them. Roman is visiting those rallies. I am there every week streaming the Free Azov rally. By the way, if anyone is interested in listening to the families of the prisoners of war, of missing in action, and also to just active members of our society standing there holding the signs and listen to their stories. I go there every week on Sunday and stream it, and you can always watch the recordings of that if you're not in time for stream. But I just want to advertise those types of streams I do. Sometimes it can be rain, snow, frost. I need to do it all the time. So I go there every Sunday, I stream it, and I am becoming the voice of the captives. You can also become the voice of the captives by coming to those streams or just watching that in record and being interested in that, because the stories of the soldiers, the stories of the families who are suffering, who are in pain. On this campaign, one of the patches is Free Azov patch, and it's in black and white. Georgie, do you have a guess why it's in black and white?
The what?
The patch is in black and white, Free Azov patch. Did you click the link that I asked you to
Yes,
click?
yes.
So you see it, and
It's
it's
not
in
in
black and
black and
white.
white. It's not.
Do you know why is it in black and white? There's a
There's like
flag that they have in US. Do you know about that one?
no.
They have an
I'll show
MIA.
it on the stream if
Yeah.
if you're gonna disappear audio. Like I'm blaming you again.
Okay, no problem.
Okay,
I
there
will
we
be.
go. Oh, it actually works. Never mind.
Yeah, it worked. So you see, guys, this patch is in black and white because in United States there is. If you scroll down a bit, they're going to be on a bigger scale. Those patches. I think, yeah, here they are. So, guys, the thing is with this patch is in the United States, they have a flag for specifically to support the POWs and MIA soldiers of United States. They put them under the US flag on the governmental buildings, and it's in black and white. You can, if you want, Google that one, Georgie, if you want, how it looks. But it is to support our captives. It is to, join the force that is standing for them every week. And I want to thank them all for their service and remind you guys that in Russian captivity, it's not like in Ukrainian captivity, where they are treated with dignity and respect, which they often don't deserve. Like real war criminals here in Russian war criminals here in Ukrainian captivity, they just are being pat on the shoulder and fed properly and not touched. But in Russian captivity, our captives are being constantly tortured, beaten by schedule. For fuck's sake, every few hours they are being beaten by schedule. They are being starved, often to death. Bodies have been returned to Ukraine in the result of exchanges of bodies of captives. Russians are torturing our captives to death and then exchanging the bodies. That's fucked up. And that is a reminder. This patch will be a reminder for those of you who care of those captives. It's going to be a reminder that they are there and they need your voice. They need your support. So please support this campaign and get this patch only if you want to get it. If you don't, we're not making you do anything. As I always say, never donate your last money to these campaigns. Only some extra funds. Nothing that will affect your well-being, like foods, groceries, or the rent. No, please. We had examples where people were either borrowing money, or just donating the less money, and then they could not afford to pay the rent. So never do that.
Did someone say rent?
Rent, yeah, rent. Who designed the Free Azov patch again, Rick? It's my moderator, creative director, Andreas Lach. He's from Germany. He's good at this. Look, guys, there's Azovstal on the background of that patch, and there are storks, and that's a great symbol. Storks, they stand for... And that's one of the symbols of Ukraine, by the way. And they are flying to freedom. And that's really inspiring and great work. Thank you, Andreas. Thank you for that. Guys, you know why that patch with Roman on it says Ultimate Resistance? It's because he represents ultimate resistance. If you did not know, he was not only defending Ukraine in 2015, then in 2022, 2023. He also was standing on Maidan in the first ranks in 2013, 2014. And he actually witnessed people fallen, killed next to him, standing there. Maybe, Roman, you want to tell about this yourself a bit?
It's just maybe what Rick trying to say. It's that the fight against Russia start not in 2022 like many people think, but actual fight starts in 2013 in Revolution of Dignity, when Ukrainian people start being killed by Russian snipers and special military who was in Ukraine and from that time actually many Ukrainians start resistance against Russia, and this is explanation why we still have like a lot of controversy in government, in military, everywhere, because we try to get rid of this huge spy system, Russian system, who just invade us and try to not let us go to be freedom country.
Yep. Yeah, so thank you, Roman, once again for leading by example and showing that ultimate resistance as an active Ukrainian, as an active member of our society. Really, I am really inspired by you, though. So thank you for that. Thank you for the inspiration and for leadership.
Thanks,
Thank
Roman.
you for mentioning that.
Third patch is javelin, and it's because Roman was a javelin operator, and I decided it should definitely go into this
I thought you
campaign.
were a sniper. Were you a javelin operator, Roman?
Both.
Ah, okay.
Also,
It's like in computer game. AK, sniper rifle, grenade, and low javelin,
Yeah,
machine gun.
yeah.
nice.
So just like you had them all on your back, and it was just like flipping, right? Just like in Counter Strike or.
But it's pretty bad for carrying all this stuff on your back, guys.
Oh shit!
Try
Yeah.
not never do it in at your home, because such trick was doing by real pro, I believe.
Oh, so yeah, but Roman also told me that he liked NLAW better because its targeting system was more efficient than the Javelin ones. And I think that might have something to do that we usually got not the newest models, not newly produced, but those there that have been in the warehouses for a long time. So that might have something to do with that. But I don't know. Unsanctioned, unsanctioned lottery brought some donations, but I think I will be mentioning them once we.
Unsanctioned slaughter.
I think I will be mentioning them once we finish our conversation with Georgie. I think we'll stay on the stream for a few minutes after that.
Yeah,
So
I just have a
Georgie,
couple of questions before
yeah,
we can wrap up with me.
what do you have there?
The one is from oh my god, so PM Rus 88, I guess something. He's asking what is Ukrainian soldiers' feedback, and I have no idea what is this for. So I'm giving as I see it. What is the Ukrainian soldiers' feedback of the Slinger Eon system? How effective are they at shooting down drones? Have you heard about that? Do you know anything about that?
Nope, haven't
What
heard yet.
system?
The
Slinger.
Slinger is
Steam?
Eons, I would guess. It's a very specific question. I don't know. I just wrote it down because I had no idea.
Well, I was happy to hear. I mean, I don't know about this system, but there are laser systems that our head of the unmanned forces 2 days ago actually mentioned. He said that Ukraine already has that weapon. It's being in use, and we can hit targets above 2 kilometers. So yeah, pretty cool. We're now in the club with probably US, Britain, and Korea, right?
Hope so.
Hope so, yeah. But he wouldn't say that without really having that weapon, right? He wouldn't lie to all of us just like that.
Yes.
I don't think so. I really believe Sukharevsky. I think he is a good commander. So one of the men that we needed as a head. So yeah, I see some positive changes too. Not only being negative. I'm just different. That's it. Next question, please.
Yes, and this is the last one. Stephen Kaiser asks, did the soldiers not get body armor from the military? They collect money to buy them because do they not get them from the command? Like, what's the situation on the front line?
Sometimes soldiers do that because they lose their armor. You see, the problem is you can lose everything at war. It can get destroyed, and everything is either being destroyed or lost there when you need to withdraw from positions. Roman, have you had experience of leaving things on positions because you needed to reposition? Was fast? Was it happening?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have, and sometimes it's pretty bad because you fundraising money for example, I don't know, for teplовизор, thermal
Scope.
scope,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for example, but it start tank shooting and bodies everywhere, part of equipment everywhere, and some of us who just been evacuate from this part and awaken in hospital 2 days afterwards, and just, oh my god, where's all my stuff? And you start asking guys, but you couldn't even find the person who bring you out of this hell. And when you ask your commander what's going on with this point when you was, and they say it's totally destroyed, and you just like, damn. And also sometimes, unfortunately, we did such suicide mission to try to find out our equipment and to get it back, and sometimes such position was under enemies, so it sometimes it's fight for drones, for scopes, for rifles, because it was money, because it was so hard for us to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes even such mission exist, and it's pretty disaster, it's pretty sad, because
Yeah.
from my part it's just the money, but from the other side you can't fight properly without such equipment. And y- it's so tough to get money from fundraising to get it. So yes, sometimes our soldiers even die for such things and been injured just to get back the gear. It's pretty tough for me.
Yeah. And as Santa mentions here in my chat, I think guys buy better equipment online that is issued to them. We did it in the military. Yeah, that is also the case, but I think the bigger percentage of exactly the loss of equipment, sometimes government issues you some armor that doesn't fit or too heavy, and you can weight 55 kilograms as I do, and you won't be able to get along with that armor, and you will have to buy yourself some lightweight armor with some lightweight plates inside. So yeah, it's just different in different situations. I think we answered it pretty extensively, right?
Yeah, for sure. And from my personal experience, that's also very very clear that the things just get worn out. When the war just started, the full scale invasion just started. My first ever donation was to a friend when I before I did YouTube and so on, and I donated like $20. Donated to a friend that went to fight for scope, and we got
Mm.
him a scope, and like 3 days later he sent us a picture with the scope completely shattered, but he says like, thanks
Mm.
guys so much for the scope, it caught a shrapnel piece. That's it. So there we go. It's like 3 days the scope was there was nice perfectly, he was ready, but it's like in 3 days a piece of shrapnel, that's it, gone.
Yeah.
And all of that, it's just the nature of war, and that's why it's like it needs everything always more and more and more. So that's why
Yep.
it is extremely our job to continue fundraising and supporting, because the fact that what we are doing is not being covered for the governments are delivering like big stuff, artillery pieces, ammunition, new vehicles, and so on, but we as a civil society are also there to help, because we need to help save lives, and that's why it's crucial, especially now for Christmas. I think there is no better thing to do for this Christmas than to help save additional lives. A question for Roman though. I said the last one was late, but Marino snuck one last in. He says, "I have a question for Roman. could he have chosen something completely different from being a javelin operator or a sniper, or it's just a job in the military that you get assigned to and then you must do it?
First, can you repeat first part, because
Yeah. Could you have chosen to be a different job in the military, or is it just assigned to you and that's what you do?
no, actually, I was fight for that. It was forbidden for me to have two weapons, but at least in one fight, when I firstly destroyed the armored vehicle from Enlau, and then successfully work with sniper rifle. Only after this battle, I proved to my command that I can do both, and this is possible, because they used to say pick something one, but I just understand that one weapon is not enough. You must be flexible to survive. You can just appear in one trenches with absolutely uh, with absolutely unknown soldiers and unknown weapon, and enemies attack approaching, and you should be flexible enough and skilled enough to use anything against anything, because firstly such situation appear, if I have 2 minutes, of course, right? Because my fellows asked me to shoot some infantry. I just run to them with my sniper rifle, just aim. There was no infantry, but 500 meters appeared the enemy's BMP with infantry on the top, and they approached. And and it was situation when you firstly use a sniper rifle and then use the in low. So this is how you survive on the battlefield. You must be like in a real in computer game, I believe. It's true. And a lot of lucky, of course.
Yeah,
Thank you
a
for
lot of luck.
questions.
Great question, guys. Great questions. If you want to hear more from Roman, like I know people are asking me on the chat and saying, is like, when is the next stream with Roman and so on. Like, guys, Roman and Rick, as far as I understand, you guys do common streams quite often. Roman also appears on Starsky stream. So please, like, do you have any social medias, Roman, that people can follow you so to get your perspective of things? Because like I'm a guy just that talks, you know. It's like I don't have military experience, I don't have military expertise, nothing. I'm just like a talking head, and some people find it amusing to look at my jaw wobble. But what about you, the person that actually was a defender? Like, do you have any medias? How people can actually get your perspective?
Yes. With this name, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, and YouTube. A little bit on YouTube, but mostly on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, but I just started being active after almost 1 year of being in hospital, when I just wasn't do nothing. I just tried to uh, get get back my health like together. And this is the only reason why I come back, because I try to do something valuable for my fellows who still on the battlefield. So we try to fundraise, to do such fundraise with the rig for soldiers, because I think I just say to myself, that's enough to just lay in on the hospital and just do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
One of
thank you
the
very much for being interested on all this stuff, this conversation.
You know,
Absolutely.
we what Roman? Yeah, he. I'm really lucky that he is back, and he said, "Okay, Rick, we need to do something." And one of the teams that we're raising funds for the truck is his guys from the Third Assault Brigade. It's West Side, so they're getting one of the trucks, and it's actually so it's like a bit
Yeah.
personal for Roman because he's helping his friends. And yeah, you know, it's what it. There's been a lot of donations. Thank you guys. Especially when I started speaking of the patches, I've seen around 10 donations started coming. So thank you everyone for your donations. Um, it's gonna be closed whenever it's gonna be closed. I'm trying to be chill about it. As for the streams, Roman wants to come I do so many streams during the week, like around 5 of them. And Roman said, I want to come to more than just one. So he also wants to do one with me tomorrow in the coffee shop here in Kyiv. We're gonna meet and do the one in person for you. So here's an announcement: if you wanna talk to Roman tomorrow and ask him more questions, come to the stream tomorrow. We're gonna be meeting in person and talking to you. We'll start around 6:30 p.m. Ukrainian time. That's it. Thank you, Georgie. More, maybe you have more questions in the chat
No,
for
no.
Roman?
No, we're already wrapping up. I just have the super chats that I need to read through. So you can stick for that or not. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. I know I talk a lot. I should have let my guest speak a lot more, but that's who I am. That's the guy I am. I don't expect people to like me and so on. The most important thing is we're trying to do the best we can from whatever sides to help Ukraine. So, Slava Ukraine, you guys. Thank you so much.
Героям слава.
Героям слава.
Thank you, Georgie.
Thank you all the people.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Be in touch.
So, Georgie is still with us. We can
Yes,
talk to him.
I'm still
Okay.
my chat's still listening to you, but I'm gonna turn you off in just a bit
Okay.
second. And now no one can hear you. Now it's just they can hear me talking to myself. Yeah, thanks so much for inviting me, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for agreeing to talk with me, Rick. It's been a pleasure. Yes. It's all talks, Rick. Don't worry. It's like don't take me too seriously. No one does. Like my chat doesn't take me seriously. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. A couple of super chats before I go. Thank you so much, guys, for the support for the channel. Best way you can support the channel is obviously through Buy Me a Coffee. That's where the least of commission is and so on. But it should be done only after you have considered fundraising either for my fundraiser for this channel that we're doing for Christmas, or you're considered helping Rick and Roman with their fundraisers, because there is no wrong option. We're all here for the same purpose. As I said multiple times, this is not a dick measuring pissing competition. It's about trying to get stuff done for Ukraine, to help Ukrainian fighters be more like Roman, survive and get through this war. iBag M, thank you so much for being a member for 22 months. Nathaniel Campbell, thank you so much for $10. Appreciate it. Rep Tyree, thank you so much for being a brother in arms. Sewer Security, welcome to being brother in arms. I really welcome you. Daryl Curson, thank you so much for $25. Appreciate it. Canada, thank you so much for being a member for 16 months. 16 months. I'll place a little quote. When in darkness, look at the light and you will find that the shadows are behind you. True indeed, my friend. Ohms, thank you so much for being here for 21 months. The real freedom fighters are in Ukraine. That's true. Octavian Timis Sorera, I'm sorry, I'm butchering the name. Greetings from Romania. We will always stand with our Ukrainian neighbors. Absolutely. Mike, thank you so much for 25 Romanian leu. The Ukrainians have truly fighting spirits, otherwise they would have crumbled. Slava Ukraini from Romania. Question, why no news about F-16? I asked your question about F-16s and people just didn't know. Hans Eriksson, love and respect to all of you. Slava Ukraini. Tommy Nickerson gifted 10 Ukrainian memberships. Thank you so much, Tommy. And thank you everyone that was here today. Remember, it's not about the money. It's not about the donations that you have. It's about still staying engaged, still supporting Ukraine and trusting Ukrainian armed forces, trusting the heroes of Ukraine. I love you guys. Slava Ukraini, and I'll see you next time.